welcome back to the show. So in this part of the show, we're going to take a closer look at how the Premier League clubs, well, Premier League London clubs fared in their games. We'll start quickly. We've talked a bit about it already, but Chelsea, Man City, 1-1. Mourinho happy with that point?
Absolutely. As soon as Man City got their goal in the 45th minute, the second half was a write-off.
And Mourinho was the happier of the two managers.
Of course not. He's got a 5-point cushion. He doesn't owe me and you anything in terms of entertainment.
Is it fair to say that he's set up to just not lose that game?
Absolutely.
He was much happier with the
Absolutely.
point.
Absolutely.
He was bringing on defenders for midfielders with still half an hour on the clock. And Man City as well, they didn't want to risk losing the game, so it just petered out into a real kind of bore.
The second half was quite atrocious, really. It was like Man City attacking and Chelsea defending pretty comfortably. There was no quality in that game. When you look at basically Man City's quality was in Africa.
So Chelsea won, Man City won. So we'll move on now and we'll talk a little bit about one of the games that's coming up this weekend. We've got a North London derby coming up. It's Arsenal versus Spurs. Is that White Hart Lane?
Is it White Hart Lane, I'm afraid?
I think on the line we've got a Spurs fan. I think we've got Ross on the line. So Spurs after their 3-0 win. Hi, Ross.
Hi, how are you doing?
Not too bad. And yourself?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
All right, thanks for joining us. So we've got a couple of questions for you. I'll let Kenny start.
Sure.
Hello, Ross. Long time, mate, innit?
Yeah, long time, couple of weeks.
Yeah, I know, it's a couple of weeks, man. I swear to God, I was still bullying you then, wasn't I?
Yeah, all right. We'll let you have that one if you want.
Ross, the first question I want to ask you is obviously, like, you're a massive Spurs fan, and obviously you're a filthy fella. Tell us a bit about Filthy Fellas.
Yeah, so basically, it's a London-based football show. Obviously, there's Man United fans there as well, because obviously the majority of their fan base is from London. But them aside, it's a London-based football show, which basically it's like a goggle box version of football in the sense that we react to both our team's results and the other teams on the show's results, and we also do a bit of slagging off of each other in between. It gets a bit bitchy.
You don't get a word in edgeways with Craig, do you?
The thing is, I think everyone says I'm quiet on the show, but the thing is, I think you could put anyone next to me, and he's got the biggest mouth, but you'd look quiet anyway. It just wouldn't change anything, mate.
So, Ross, we're looking ahead to the game, Spurs versus Arsenal this weekend. It is 5th versus 6th.
Yeah.
How do you see that game going? And how significant do you think that game is in that push for 4th?
To be honest, I don't really think it's that significant. Like, a lot of people, people were speaking about this the other weekend when it was Chelsea City saying, the Premier League title could be decided. No, I don't feel nothing gets decided till at least end of March, April time. So in terms of, the chase of top 4, I don't think it's that big. In terms of bragging rights, it's always a big game. In terms of the game itself, I'm always confident at home, but, Arsenal are Arsenal at the end of the day. And despite I saw quite a few fans almost celebrating that Sanchez out, I think their best player in recent times has actually been Cahola in midfield, who's absolutely killing it. So I'm quietly confident, but obviously, it's always Arsenal and anything can happen in these derby games, as we know.
Yeah, obviously, like with Eriksen and Kane being banging form, can you see that swinging it in Spurs' favour? And also, what sort of tactics do you think Pochettino would use to... Because you mentioned Cahola being our key player. What sort of tactics do you think Pochettino would use to stamp out his influence? Yeah,
well, what would be interesting is, because in terms of going back to the original question about Kane and Eriksen, I think, they're key players for us. And to be honest, if Arsenal can shut them down, then I don't really see us actually being able to create too many chances, purely because recently Eriksen's been starting from the left and then drifting inwards, so he might do that to kind of almost try and put him underneath the skin of Arsenal in terms of, going under the radar. But if Coquelin and the guy you play next to him, whoever Wenger picks, can shut them two down, you've probably got quite a good chance. In terms of tactics for us towards you, I think we've just got to pin everyone on Cahola. The main interesting thing will be whether they start Bentaleb, because he's been away at the African Cup of Nations with Algeria, who got knocked out of the quarterfinals, and he's now come back. And everyone didn't think Bentaleb would be in the side for a good couple of weeks, but Pochettino told the media today that in fact he could actually start and he's fit and everything. So I think a lot of fans are hoping that Bentaleb starts purely for that kind of fight and almost nasty side in the centre midfield to kind of stamp out Arsenal's threat going forward.
Yeah, so I've got another question. There's two short questions. Firstly, tell us about your early derby memories. Obviously, being a young man like yourself, they're pretty bad anyway, but I'll let you tell us anyway then. And also, what do you think the final result will be?
Right. earliest I remember it, I'm trying to think my earliest. My earliest one that I can vaguely remember would probably be Christian Ziegler's free kick against you guys. But the one I can only actually remember the full match would probably be the 5-4 at White Hart Lane. And what's the second question?
What do you think the final result will be?
Yeah, I think it's going to be filled with goals because we're one of the best. We're one of the most informed teams in the league at the moment, and so are you guys. I think you've won 10 out of your last 11, or you're on some amazing run, and we're all doing really well. So I can see it being something stupid like 3-3, to be honest.
And finally, Ross, so who's going to get that final 4th spot?
I've said from the start of the season it'll be United. I think the table will finish Chelsea top, City second, Arsenal in third, and then United in 4th.
Oh, so not even a mention for Tottenham in that top 4.
No, we've got to be realistic, man. We're not that good, let's be honest.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Ross. All the best for the derby at the weekend.
You too. Thank you very much.
See you later, Ross. Beat you in a few weeks.
So that was Ross on behalf of Spurs. And so, yeah, good result for Spurs at the weekend.
I think with Spurs fans is that we've got a phrase in North London where a lot of Spurs fans think they're going to Spurs it up. And we were speaking to Ross. He's seen a lot of false storms from Tottenham Hotspur, but for the last 3 or 4 years, they've been a fantastic side, an absolutely brilliant football team in the last 5 years to the extent they're always contenders for the top 4. They beat the teams who they should be beating, and it's just getting that 1 year in the top 4 and get it consistently, and they get the right owner. I think Spurs could hurt Arsenal.
And then, so we'll move on and talk a little bit about Arsenal now. So their emphatic 5-0 win against Aston Villa on Sunday. A great performance. Speaking of Spurs as well, in the same sentence, there's 2 great performances going into a crucial game.
Well, the thing about it is that if Spurs and Arsenal took that form from the beginning of the season, they could be up there with Chelsea and Man City, challenging for the title. It's like they've had some really situations, like Spurs had a bad October in early November, and we was just drawing games. So really and truly, they're both banging form, but they're 5th and 6th. And that's the frustration. That must be really frustrating for Spurs fans and Arsenal fans with the positions they're in.
So I think we are going to talk to an Arsenal fan. I don't think we've got him on the phone just yet. So what we'll do is we'll move on and we'll talk a little bit about the other Premier League games. So
of course.
A special mention for QPR again. And 11 straight away defeats in the Premier League. I don't think that's been achieved since, I think, the 40s or 50s. It's absolutely astronomically bad away form from QPR. It is relegation form, and their 11th away defeat was a 3-1 defeat at Stoke. What happened, Ken?
I'll tell you what happened. QPR are very unlucky. Again, it's one of those situations where, you know, they've made 2 bad mistakes. Obviously, it's got Henry and Dunn's fingerprints on it, I'm afraid. Sorry to say that. But 2-0 down, they get a goal. They get a goal just before half-time through, a ricochet. It was, what's this guy? The guy from Croatia. He's a very good Croatia. He played for Portsmouth. Was that Krankia? Yeah.
Nico Krankia.
Nico Krankia scored an opportunist goal. And in the second half, they dominated the game. You know, like I said, Joe Barton hits a really good free kick, which Begovic puts on top of the bar. Leroy Fer has an even better free kick, which bends around the wall, which he puts behind for a corner. And then you have the situation where they make another mistake, where they've turned a game that it should be drawing, if not nicking, into a defeat. They played brilliantly for QPR.
I don't mean to interrupt. Woeful from QPR. I don't think the performance was that good. But we've actually got Arsenal fan Bez on the line. Hi, Bez. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you now.
How are you doing, Bez? Thanks for joining us this evening.
You're more than welcome, man. How are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. So I'll pass you over to Kenny. He's got a few questions that he wants to ask you.
No problem. Go ahead.
How you doing, Bez? We spoke about a couple of weeks ago. You know,
we did indeed. We did
do. You know, we both realised we're both massive gooners. But so obviously you're on my screen. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you involved in any little podcasts? You know, Arsenal podcasts? Because you know, like. To be
fair, I haven't come around to it, but I'm actually thinking about getting a few fans, and maybe I can do something in the near future. Probably, yeah.
Hey, you're in the right platform to do anything. Remember, this is like Sports Night Live, London Football Show. You know, like I said, get involved. I'm sure we'll recommend you for anything you want to do.
Well, definitely when I meet you face to face, I think it'd be more easier than I can just tell you what my suggestions and ideas. We can actually follow up and we can just meet the right fans and then we can get creative, basically.
Best, we'll sort something out. You're talking the right
you
man.
two guys sort out your own show in your time. So we'll talk about the game this weekend. Now, Arsenal have only lost one game since November. Now, that's good form going into this game. Away to Spurs, who have hit a bit of form. How do you see the game going?
I think to be fair, I think we're in good shape because I mean I don't want to disrespect any Spurs fan around us. I saw on Twitter, but it's like I think we're in good form. We're hitting really the ground running in this type of proper period right now as well.
And so, are you part of the Wenger in brigade or the Wenger out brigade?
To be fair, going 11 years as strong as a Gooner because as you know, I mean I've been here a while in this country, so in a way it feels like I would say Wenger in still until let's say we can keep up another good 2 years. I'll say at least.
But yeah, so in terms of the way Arsenal are playing, Arsenal kind of tweaked their tactics and they've been more organised approach into matches. How significant do you feel that Coquelin has been for Arsenal? And will he
massive influence. I mean, if you think about it, think about like before we didn't have him around the game for Man City. If we didn't have him, I think we would lack that sort of engineer in the midfield who keeps the team going. Like you had Abu Dhabi, but then he got injured all the time. You have Flamini, but he's not as strong as let's say Coquelin is. Coquelin offers that flair, which I think we lacked at least for a good 10 years now.
So how big a loss is Alexis Sanchez for this game?
I'll say the big losses. I mean, I saw him, my first ever Premier League game was earlier this year, and I think against Southampton, I mean, without him, I think we'll struggle a bit. But then again, don't forget we have Walker back, which plays the same position. Ozil still back playing really well. Giroud is doing his own work for the team. Ramsey, yes. I don't think we're missing too much. Okay, we miss his teamwork rate. Obviously, he works around the pitch because I noticed he works around the pitch like proper team player one needs, you know.
And finally, Bez, you give us a score prediction, and who do you think is going to get that final fourth spot?
First of all, for the Champions League spot, I'll say definitely us. We have more of the experience, you know, at least in good 17 years going strong in Champions League. I'll say definitely us. And
then your score prediction for this week?
I'm not just saying 1-0, but main thing is I don't want to say, but I say 2-0 to us.
2-0 Arsenal.
Yeah.
Good luck. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, Bez, and all the best for the weekend. Enjoy the derby.
Yeah, keep in touch, mate.
Thank you. I'll keep you guys posted on Twitter, so I'll talk about it during probably the weekend because I'm there, so I'll probably nudge a few tweets along the way on Saturday as well. So yeah.
Don't worry, great stuff, Bez. I'll keep in touch with you.
Great stuff. Take care. Thanks. So Ken, we'll move on briefly. We're running out of time for this part, but we'll move on briefly to the West Ham. Liverpool 2, West Ham 0. Sturridge back scoring. Difficult game for West Ham.
Actually, difficult game, and I think Liverpool have got turned it around a bit. They've had a bit of form. Like I said, I think what's happening is I think the Balotelli experiment is basically Brendan Rodgers has given up on him. He's getting more pace now in the team and getting behind him. And West Ham, the Sacco incident, I didn't think they played that well anyway. And I thought as soon as the first Liverpool goal went in, the white flag went out for me. I was quite disappointed with them.
So West Ham now down in 8th. So we're going to take a quick break now. So join us after the break where we'll finish off looking at the Premier League games and we'll look a bit further down the leagues.
Are you a special one? Have you got what it takes? It takes